China just built a solar farm so massive that it's visible from space. These are 5 megaprojects that are called the sun-stealing technology. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest megaprojects news around the globe. Urumqi Solar Farm. Let's start in the Gobi Desert, which is one of the harshest places on Earth. Temperatures here are so extreme that there is no middle ground. It can go from scorching days to freezing nights. Nothing grows here, there is no life, and for thousands of years, this land was considered worthless by many different colonizers and attackers. Then, in June 2024, China flipped the switch on the world's largest solar farm near Urumqi in Xiangyang. The numbers are insane. This single factory covers over 3,300 acres of land, which is about 51 square miles of just solar panels. The farm uses 5.26 million solar panels that are working in perfect synchronization with each other, and this has been covered in many reports already. This solar farm can generate about 3.5 GW of electricity. To put things into perspective, 1 GW can easily power 100 million LED bulbs we use in our homes. The facility produces around 6.09 billion kW annually, which is enough to power the entire nation of Papua New Guinea for a year, as this study was done by Impact Lab reports. Here is the reality that no one is talking about. China didn't just build one massive solar farm and call it done. This project is a part of something bigger, which is called the Megabase project. It is a plan to install 455 GW of renewables across China's desert. Right now, they are already building an even larger facility near Mongolia that will have over 200,000 acres of land, larger than Singapore and nearly the size of New York City. The speed is what shocked the world. Western countries spent decades debating about environmental impact studies and fighting legal battles over land rights. But on the other hand, China just identified a worthless desert and decided to make it work. So they bought it cheaply and built the world's largest solar farm in well under 2 years. Anhui Fuyang Floating Solar Farm. Now let's talk about something that sounds almost impossible, which is solar panels floating on water. China has built multiple floating farms, but the Anhui Fuyang Southern Wind Solar Storage Facility is something that we've never seen before. It is located in Fuyang City. This floating solar farm has an installed capacity of 650 MW and covers an area of 860 hectares, which is equivalent to 1,300 football fields, according to Marine Insight. Here's the genius part about this facility. It is built on top of a flooded former coal mine. China just took the land that was completely destroyed by decades of mining, flooded, and abandoned, and transformed it into one of the world's most advanced renewable energy facilities. The farm uses around 1.2 million solar panels that float on pontoons, and the water now serves many purposes. It cools the panel, making them 15% more efficient than land-based panels. The panel also reduces water evaporation, conserving millions of gallons annually. The setup itself includes a 550 MW wind power project along with the 300 MW battery storage system, creating a fully integrated renewable energy complex. China isn't even stopping there, because CHN Energy recently completed its 1 GW floating solar panel facility in Shandong Province, which is 8 km off the coast in the open sea. Now, this isn't a lake or reservoir, it is an open ocean that is filled with waves about salt water and typhoons. The installation uses a steel truss platform that is anchored on the seafloor with pile foundations. This structure can withstand massive waves and extreme weather. What's amazing is that it works currently and has been generating power since November. East Artificial Sun. Now comes the one project that makes China the sun-stealing country. Inside the donut-shaped chamber in Hefei, China, scientists did something that sounds physically impossible. They created temperatures that are 5 times hotter than the core of the actual sun. What's crazy is that they held it for over 17 minutes straight. This is EAST, the Experimental Advanced Superconductive Tokamak. And it's not just breaking records, it has rewritten what we thought was possible by humanity. It all started in January 2020-2025, where EAST achieved a world record by maintaining ultra-hot plasma at over 100 million degrees Celsius for around 1066 seconds. That's 17 minutes and 46 seconds of fusion reaction. According to the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the previous record was 403 seconds, also set by the same company in 2023. They have now doubled their achievement. To understand how insane this is, we need to know what they are doing. Nuclear fusion is the same process that powers the sun. Hydrogen atoms are first smashed together under extreme heat and pressure until they fuse into helium, which makes them release large amounts of deadly energy. The sun does this naturally because it has huge gravitational pressure. We don't have that on Earth, so we compensate for that with even higher temperatures. East heats plasma to 126 million degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun sits at about 27 million degrees, which seems quite nice. Much less. This reactor is literally 5 times hotter than the center of our solar system. According to life science, the technical challenge is what's keeping this plasma contained. You cannot let 100 million degree gas touch anything physical, because it would instantly vaporize anything that is there. They use a magnetic field to trap the plasma into a continuous loop inside the tokamak chamber, suspending it in mid-air without touching the walls for over 70 years. Scientists worldwide have tried to maintain a stable fusion reaction, and most attempts only lasted seconds. Some lasted minutes, but East is now operating at a scale of nearly 18 minutes, a duration that is critical for a practical fusion power generator. Here's the crazy part. This reactor costs around $300 million to build, and some even estimate that it could be around $1 trillion. Why does this matter? Fusion energy could change everything. 1 liter of seawater contains enough deuterium fuel to produce energy that is equivalent to 300 liters of gasoline. By using fusion power, China has completed over 150,000 plasma experiments since it began its operation, and each test refines its understanding of plasma behavior. But now, countries like the United States are terrified of what they have achieved so far. 3 Gorges Dam ship lift. Next up is another mega project that will shock you. We already know that the 3 Gorges Dam is famous for being the world's largest hydroelectric project. But most people have no idea how impressive that actually is. China has built a ship elevator that lifts 3,000-ton vessels 113 meters straight up. Think about that for a second. That's the height of a 37-story building. And they're lifting ships, not people. Which is what makes this even more impressive. Before the dam was even built, cargo ships could sail freely up to the Yangtze River. But the dam then created a 113-meter difference in water levels between the upstream and downstream. Naturally, ships couldn't pass. China had 2 options. Build traditional shiplocks where vessels move through a series of chambers, slowly raising or lowering over 3 to 4 hours. Build something that they've never done before, and here they chose the other part. The 3 Gorges shiplift is the largest in the world because it contains a massive water-filled chamber, which is essentially a giant bathtub for the ships. The chamber measures around 120 meters long, 80 meters wide, and can hold 3.5 meters of water. Ships first enter this chamber, then the gates close, and then the entire chamber is sealed. Water and a ship are included here. Both are lifted vertically using 256 steel cables connected to counterweights. The total moving mass, including the water chamber and the ship, could be as much as 34,000 tons, yet the entire ascent takes just around 30 to 40 minutes. That's quite less than the traditional shiplock mechanism. The engineering here is also mind-blowing because 4 169-meter-tall reinforced concrete towers are supporting this system. The chamber is then suspended from 128 double rope pulleys, and the system uses rack and pinion gears to ensure smooth and controlled movements. Since its opening in 2016, the ship has lifted over 40,500 safe operations, transporting over 16.8 million tons of cargo and around 1.1 million passengers. Qihang Floating Wind Turbine. Now, for the finale, and the mega project that sums up China's series of impressive mega projects, we have the Qihang Floating Wind Turbine. China has built the world's largest floating offshore wind turbine, and it's so big it defies what we think is possible. China Railway Construction Corporation manufactured the Qihang turbine and has a rotor diameter of 260 meters. That's around 853 feet or 7 football fields laid end to end. The turbine is standing over 151 meters tall at the hub, which is equivalent to a 50-story building. Each blade is longer than a Boeing 747. What's crazy about this floating turbine is its capabilities. The turbine can generate 20 MW of power and even produce 62 million kW of electricity annually. This can empower 37,000 households while saving 25,000 tons of coal and eliminating 62,000 tons of CO2 emissions per year. Here's what makes it truly surprising. The turbine floats are mounted on a semi-submersible platform that uses a dynamic blast system. As wind and waves shift, the platform automatically pumps water in and out of the 3 supporting columns, which helps it adjust its balance and even reduce tilts. Even if a typhoon occurs and the wind is up to 260 km per hour, this will keep turbines stable and operational. Why is it floating? Most of the world's ocean is too deep for traditional fixed-bottom turbines. It is estimated that 80% of the world's offshore wind generation potential is in water that is deeper than 60 meters. It is too deep for foundations. Floating turbines like the Qihang have unlocked access to those deeper waters where winds are stronger and much more consistent. China isn't stopping with one turbine either. They are also going for the Mingyang Smart Energy that has recently been unveiled for a 50 MW dual-rotor floating turbine. That monster will have 2 spinning heads with blades that are 290 meters in diameter. These turbines are designed to withstand Category 5 hurricanes while continuing to generate power. Tell me if that is impressive. The panic. So why are all these megaprojects making the Western intelligence agencies nervous? China is laying thousands of kilometers of underwater fiber optic cable across the ocean floors, and they're also making megaprojects that are slowly rivaling the sun itself. On the other hand, they're also worried about China for espionage and other issues like these, but what's actually happening here? China is executing a coordinated strategy across multiple domains at the same time. They identified that renewable energy would define the big 21st century economy and went all in. Do you think these Chinese megaprojects are impressive? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel for more megaprojects related news.